typing like a T-Rex.
Two guys talking without wearing pants. Pantless podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless podcast. Here's your host, Austin and Travis. We suck at this. Hey, what's going on? I suck at this. I hit stop on that video. I hit stop on that and it still played anyway. I'll cut that out. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it in editing.
Cut it out.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, guess what? Audio levels are good.
Good. I'm glad you checked that before we started.
Bad news is I have ants on my desk.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a fun board game from when we were kids.
It's not even warm yet and they're already back. So annoying.
Yeah. That's fine.
Had any fun this week?
Man, I got together with some guys over at Buffalo Wild Wings earlier and had some good times.
Yeah?
Finally got rid of a trophy that wasn't mine. So I feel better as a person now.
Do you?
Yeah.
You ready to give me another? Who has the trophy I'm gonna win here in 2 weeks?
I have the basketball trophy.
You know which one I'm talking about. I'm gonna win that one.
Really?
I'm coming for it. 3 years in the making.
Yeah. I mean, you've come close a few times.
Well,
This will be the second. If you win, this will be your second appearance in the championship.
I am working really hard right now. Like, I told you tonight, I'm one bad game away from losing this. Alright?
Yeah.
I think you were asking me, we were debating the championship. So Mark beat me in the finals in year one. You beat David in the finals last year.
Okay.
So every year nobody's repeated in the finals.
Nobody's even been to the finals 2 consecutive years.
Yes. Nobody's repeated the finals. So it's been 2 different teams but we're guaranteed to have a repeat in the final this season. Because
I've got to have something crazy happen for me not to.
You're going back, and well, me or David have to because we're playing each other.
Because that's true.
But sad that the best 2 players are playing each other in the first round this season.
Me and Dill?
No, me and David.
Oh.
We've been the strongest teams this year.
You were strong, and then I decided to take several games off because I was undefeated and was like, I'm going to coast into the championship. And I allowed several people to catch me. That's true.
I think you had a better record the first half because I just don't think you.
I was undefeated. I was beating everyone.
But I was scoring more
even had a
points.
shot.
I was scoring more points in that stretch.
Yeah.
I think I was the top. I think I was the highest. Am I still the highest scoring team in the league? David still outscored me by 300 points, even though I'm beating him by a couple hundred. I've got you by like $2,000.
Yeah. Like I said, I took several weeks off. Stop caring. Coming for you. I'm not going to give it up.
Somehow the Kings have given up the least amount of points.
Wrong D.
That's the key to these fantasy leagues is catch people in their bad weeks.
That's true.
You don't have a good week. Hope that your opponent has a bad week.
Yes.
That's why I couldn't win in football, because everybody'd have their best week against me. Hey, what are we doing tomorrow?
Oh, that's right. We're doing something tomorrow, aren't we? Keep forgetting. Everybody keeps forgetting. Why does everybody keep forgetting about the draft?
We are drafting for baseball. I am not. I even though I won the championship last year, this is the most stressful league we have.
I don't know. Hockey's pretty rough. Hockey's just because you're just like I don't know how they score points. Like we were talking about with soccer. Like, how would they do soccer? I don't know. How do they do hockey? I don't know that either.
Yeah.
Like has something to do with time of possession or something, and
goalies can win or lose you a game.
oh yeah, for sure.
So, hey, you been eating anything good this week?
I had some wings. Some wings earlier. Those were good.
Dang right you did.
I had some Piggly Wiggly pizza today. That was really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of
Some catfish. Had some catfish. Had some cheeseburgers. I've had some decent food lately. Decent food.
Was this all work food?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not the wings. The wings wasn't work food.
You had to work for them, though.
I did have to work for them. It's true.
So, I think what did we have this week? I did a big breakfast scramble with Spam potatoes and eggs. That was a good one. The wife made some curry that was really good earlier in the week.
Oh yeah.
Curry and rice.
Nice.
had some party pizzas. The square.
Right.
Totino,
yeah. I had some of those too this week, yeah.
That's about it. It was a boring food week.
Yeah.
I think next week I'm going to try to do a Spam and rice bowl. I think I did one quite a while ago where you make white rice, grill up slabs of Spam, and an over easy egg over the top of it.
Nice.
You just smash the kind of smash up the over easy egg and let the yolk down into the rice and mix it all up. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the runny yolks, but I do like Spam.
What?
I'm a fan of the Spam.
Get you like the bacon Spam or the hot and spicy Spam. Good stuff.
I did have some last week. I had some Spam mac and cheese. You inspired me.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah. That was on Saturday, actually. I had it the next day after we talked about it.
Nice.
Yeah. Worth it.
So, we'll do some video game news. Because we were at odds today about...
Oh, yeah. I want to see that.
So...
You're excited about it, and I'm hesitant to even consider it.
I am excited for it for the fact that I think it could be great. Okay?
Okay.
So what we're talking about for you folks is that there's come up, I don't even know how their news dropped over this week or soft drop that they're talking about making a AAA video game of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, which was a 5-issue short run comic book. kind of a dark, adult-themed Ninja Turtle. So I'm not even going to talk here. No spoilers here. I won't spoil any of it. I've yet to actually read it, but it was spoiled for me. I kind of went looking, and
Fair.
but the story, from what I understand, is they're looking into like a God of War style action adventure game, which would work well.
You say
Perfect.
That, and that's where I'm hesitant. I'm like,
but
how will it work? Will it flop? Will people like it?
It could easily be messed up. They can mess it up very easy, but also it could be epic. Now, me and Mark were talking. Do they go Dark Souls and make it like super hard, like a FromSoft Dark Souls style game?
Right.
Which would, I hate those games, but it would make sense. If they gave it to FromSoft and was like, make this game in the Dark Souls style, the game would probably be awesome and epic, and I would have to play it and struggle through it.
Right.
I would like to see them do, because he carried, what, if nobody knows the actual story, is that 3 of the turtles and Splinter, are dead. The rat, three turtles, dead. There's only 1 turtle left alive. You don't know which turtle it is because he wears all black with a hood, and he carries all 4 weapons on his person, and he uses all of them in the comic. So I think in the video game they could have it to where you actually get to use in combat all 4 weapons.
Oh.
I think it'd be cool if if you use your nunchucks, the more you use those, you leveled those up. And like you got stronger with those, and if you pulled out the bow staff, the more you use it, let you level up your weapons.
Ooh, yeah.
And if you want to just roll the whole game with the sword, the katana, that would be cool. I think he's only got, I don't know. No, he's got both. He's got both katana. He's got both sides, both katana, both nunchuck, and the bow staff.
So do you know which turtle it is?
I do know what turtle it is, yes.
But in the game, do you know?
They would reveal it. It would probably be revealed like a story reveal, like they do in the comic book, where they do reveal near the end who it is.
Oh, so you don't know who it is in the comic either, though?
No, they don't tell you till near. I think like one of the last couple of.
Did they tell you how one of them? Like, do they all get killed or do they all just die?
The foot kill them. They're killed by the foot.
Oh my gosh!
Because there's actually like in the comic books, there's actually like it'll go through some story and then there'll be some flashbacks. So as the game kind of back and forth, I mean the comic book kind of back and forth because it's telling what's going on in the present, but actually is telling the story of how he got to where he is and how they all died.
Hey.
I never got that far through the entire. I only read like the first issue. I need to get the whole thing and read it all. But it's kind of a depressing story a little bit. And he has like voices. He's like very broken, and his mind's like not right. And he has.
This is all based on the comic. You have no idea how the game plays to be, right?
This is all based on because there has been the only thing they've come out and said was they're gonna make a video game based on this, and it's gonna be a AAA game. It's not gonna be like some indie game like Shredder's Revenge and all that. It's gonna be, and the rumor has it, it's gonna be an action adventure game in the God of War style. They haven't announced anything of who's publishing it. who's developing it. There's like very little information, so it's like
How
probably
can you get hyped? How can you get hyped if you don't know anything?
I think they're. I want to. Part of me thinks this was probably leaked. Like somebody said something they weren't exposed to in an interview or something. Like one of the writers. It's probably like 2 years from happening. If you're interested, buy the graphic novel and read it. It's from what I've read and what I know about it, worth the read. So, do you have any breaking news that you know of?
I honestly don't. I'm pouring through the interwebs, and there's not much, unless you want to say, I don't know if you remember Brandy and Paolo Montalban when they were doing Cinderella and Prince Charming.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They are coming back as those characters in the Disney show Descendants. I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
What?
Not a huge deal. Moving on.
Movie?
Retro movie review.
I guess we'll jump into that. What? Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. You watched the short version, right?
I watched a 2.5 hour movie. Was that the short version?
That was the short version, yeah.
Oh. I'm glad I didn't watch the long version, because that movie, I want to know what they added.
I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious, too.
I was confused in different parts of this movie.
You can watch
What?
the long version for free.
I didn't even look. I just went where I've been watching movies lately, and just searched it and started watching it on a free site. That I didn't even think to look anywhere else. Did you at any point? Because I forgot. Well, I started watching this movie, and I forgot who all was supposed to be in this movie to begin with.
Right.
I'm like, man, Martin Sheen's. I'm like, Charlie Sheen looks good in this movie.
Yeah, right? Exact. That is my thought. Exactly. Like, he looks so much like Charlie. It is ridiculous. But not the Charlie that's in the movie. It's a different Charlie. But
there's late in the movie when he's in Cambodia and he's not really talking much, and his facial expressions, I'm like, no, that's Martin. That's a Martin Sheen face. Especially
when he starts getting like exhausted and he starts getting the bags under his eyes, it really does look like Martin Sheen. But in the early, when he first comes on and he's fresh, he looks
like that's crazy. Did you recognize Lawrence Fishburne in this movie?
I did.
I did.
I
didn't realize that was him until afterwards.
Like, yes, yeah, he was so. Like, he had to be a teenager, right? Like
he was like 19. They said he was the character was 19.
Yeah, he looked younger than
19 or 19, something like that.
Yeah.
And then what I'm gonna have to pull the cast up again because I'm forgetting characters.
I think those were the two main ones that I. Oh, and Harrison Ford in just random, like not a big role at all.
I knew he was in this movie, but I'm like, is that all he is? Is that all he's in? He was young. Oh my gosh. How young was he? Oh, Robert Duvall's character was my favorite.
Who's Robert Duvall?
He was the lieutenant, the surfing guy. Look at
that was Robert Duvall?
Yeah. He's like,
I did not catch that was him at all.
Sir, we're in an active war zone. But look at them. You see them serves? They split. They go out there and they split.
Yeah, he was hilarious. But, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna have to pull up some screenshots and see if I can. Because I didn't even catch that at all. That was him.
Yeah, that's Robert Duvall. His character was so hilarious. Like, were they going for a comedic? Were they trying to be funny with his character?
I mean, somewhat, yeah.
Like all those bombs going off around him. And he's just like not even flinching. Everybody else is like taking cover.
That is great. That does not even look like him. I'm looking at pictures and I'm like,
Lieutenant Colonel
I can't even tell by looking at him that that's him.
He was Kilgore.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I recognize him immediately. As soon as they came off, and he was he was putting the cards on the dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there he is. But I thought he had a bigger role in the movie, and then he didn't. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I was just trying to figure out what was going on in this movie. Okay, my question to you, before we really get into reviews, and this is a stretch, and I don't even know if you've seen this other movie. Have you seen the movie 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas?
Oh man, it's been a long time, but yes, I have.
Were there some similarities to these two movies in like the way the movie kind of happened?
Oh, that one.
Because like,
I'll tell you.
Because the guy that suggested this movie to me, he kept telling me it's not about the destination. The movie's about the journey.
Right.
He's sent on a mission to do a specific thing, but he gets in all these small skirmishes along the way. Like, it's not like just an easy path there. Once he gets there, it's like, why am I even here now? In 13th Warrior, Antonio Banderas' character is sent out on a mission to deliver some stuff in exile, gets caught up in a Norse, and like gets in it. He stops at a Norse encampment and gets roped into a mission to go do some other stuff. That's the main part of the movie, but his story then continues on to do other things. In the book, it actually explained, he actually gets to his final destination. The movie ends with him leaving the Norsemen. Great movie. We can review that one another day. But
I'm thinking we might have watched that before.
I really need to go back and see what we have and haven't watched. And I don't think we have.
Or maybe we just talked about it.
I've talked about it a lot because I love that movie. I don't even know if I'd even heard of this movie, Apocalypse Now, before. Like, before it got suggested to me.
Right.
I feel like I've
heard of it, but
I guess I hadn't heard much about it. So, 15 critics. It's got the must-see stamp of approval out of 100.
You know what that means.
Not much. Most of the time.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm going to say the critics give this one 81.
I think this one might set a record. 94.
What?
Very, very highly.
That's crazy.
Now, 755 users out of 10.
Let's go with 8.1.
You're actually pretty close. It's 8.7. My only critic of this movie, like the only thing I can criticize in this movie is just confusing at points. I loved how Martin Sheen narrated this movie.
Yeah,
like, the inner monologue narration was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, because then and you kind of went on that journey with him. Like you could hear him kind of changing.
So, all right. Critics gave it 14 positive, 1 mixed, 0 negative. Users gave it 684 positive, 37 mixed, 34 negative.
What Austin say?
I'm going to see. I'm going to come down here and see all the reviews. We're going to start with the Chicago Sun-Times. Gave it 100. Remember the weird beauty of the massed helicopters lifting over the trees in the long shot, and the insane power of Wagner's music played loudly during the attack. You feel that Coppola was going at those moments as common as life is art. When the whole huge grand mystery of the world, so terrible, so beautiful, seems to hang in the balance. I don't really think they were writing about this movie.
And they had the scene.
I guess I did. Boston Chronicle did not review this movie.
What? Pointed.
The Guardian gave it 100, but only had this to say: the film needs to be seen on the big screen. Well, I had it on the biggest screen I own. Let's see here. Let's see the one that didn't like it. The Washington Post gave it a 40.
Yeah.
The finished film remains a mess of tangled, turgid continuity and florid mock operatic style. At best, a collection of production numbers and set pieces waiting in range for a story capable of accumulating suspense and meaning.
When they pull stuff like that.
I wish you could review a critic's review and I just say word vomit.
Exactly.
0 out of 100. Word vomit.
Throw up emoji.
Was Coppola the director? Because they keep saying Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola was the director. Okay. I'm just so curious what you saw in the extended that I didn't.
It was probably some slow stuff, I bet. I don't know. Did you see a lot of kids getting injured?
Kids getting injured?
Yeah. Kids becoming casualties of war.
I guess not. I know that when they were in the Blackhawks and they were flying over the villages, they were shooting down at the village, but it didn't really show much.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was some tough stuff. I wondered if are they what this is, because there was injured kids and babies crying and mamas crying. And, gosh, this is nuts. Maybe that's what it was. Should be glad you didn't watch them.
I'll say I am glad I didn't watch the full, because it was 2.5 hours of when's this movie gonna end. I don't even know what's going on here. Do you have Common Sense Media?
I sure can.
I forgot to tell you ahead of time.
Wondering, I didn't click on it, but I have another review left.
There was one I was going to ask.
I'm sure it is.
I tell you, the scene at the bridge, that night scene, where they're at that bridge that keeps getting bombed. It's kind of an odd scene.
No!
What?
That is bull!
Did you click on the wrong movie?
I clicked it, but it was not loading, and then I went to click it again, and it did the thing where it shifted, and so I clicked on Now Apocalypse instead of Apocalypse Now, which, in case you're curious, it's a silly, surreal comedy. It has cursing, sex, and nudity in it. It's 17 and older, 3 stars, with no parent or no kid reviews.
So I guess I'm doing it.
I guess you're doing it because I just blew my last one on not real.
You want to know how I actually get this done right? I go to the Google machine and I type in the movie followed by Common Sense Media, and I pull it up that way. I've learned my lesson of clicking the wrong movies and wasting a review. Ooh. Have we had a Kelly Kessler before? That sounds familiar.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
So, Kelly, 17 plus 5 stars. Disturbing tale of war horrors isn't for kids. But 16 parents say 16 plus 5 stars. 31 kids disagree and say 14 plus 5 stars.
Oh. Goodness, okay.
Well, interesting. Positive messages.
Oh yeah, it's me. Positive messages. Goodness. You could squeeze one out of it, but it's tough.
Not present. But let's see what they have to say about it.
All right.
We're starting on a high note here, by the way.
Yeah, right. Not present.
I just want you to know, positive messages is what we're reading on here. The film does not include positive role models. The main goal of the protagonist is to assassinate a rogue American Green Beret. American soldiers appear out of control, violent, and overall heartless. They do not seem to be fighting for a greater cause. It appears to be an immoral quest undertaken by unethical individuals.
Yeah.
So in a way to say there's no positive messages, they actually doubled down and say there's no positive role models either.
Is that one of the categories that I can choose?
No, because they lumped it. I guess they lumped
at least
those.
They did that.
What?
At least they did. I said at least they did that.
Yeah. Violence and scariness.
Oh man, this one's tough. Like I said, I watched the long version, and it was pretty violent. But it could have been more violent. But I'm gonna go with a 4 because I think it could have been worse.
I give it a full 5, which I almost could agree.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
This is probably one of the higher violence. Like, it almost had some gore without having a lot of gore, and there was some graphic stuff that was like, even in the cutscene that even in the like shorter version, the original. I think I watched the original version.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of implied stuff. Okay, they said 5. Animals are put in jeopardy. Somewhat graphic images of injured, dead soldiers. A lot of generalized images of bombing of Vietnamese villages. Soldiers casually kill civilians who they see as inconveniences. Mangled and tortured bodies. Decapitation. Major characters die. Very graphic conclusion.
Yeah.
They did hack that bull apart as he was hacking away at the
right.
main guy.
You never really saw him do anything though. So you're just
they
like,
show more of the bull getting hacked apart
than
they did of the actual person.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef's head is thrown in his lap.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
That kind of sucked. I will admit, the scene where Fishburne's character dies, when he gets hit in the chest and dies, I mean, that was a rough scene to watch. Like, oh, wait, now we're killing main characters?
Yep.
I didn't expect anybody off that boat to live anyway, but I guess Lance lived.
Yeah, like he was on the village with him.
Well, he
like joined his cult, right?
Well, yeah. I think he was one of the ones with the axes hacking away at the bull at the end. But then when Martin Sheen's character is like walking through the crowd leaving, he grabs Lance and drags him back to the boat. And you see Lance on the front of the boat kneeling down as the boat was pulling out. So, this is one of the few times that they give it a 5 that I could agree. Let's see.
I mean,
Sex, romance, and nudity.
This one was a weird one too. I would probably say 3, but it wouldn't surprise me if they said 4.
I don't fully agree with what they have on. I would give it a 4. They give it a full 5.
Uh,
It says male nudity, brief images of centerfolds, locker room talk. I don't know what the locker. But there was.
That's all they say, but they give it a 5?
Yeah. The only real nudity was the hanging bodies. Oh, and I think at the very beginning he was. I don't know how much of his nudity they showed when he punched that glass.
Right. But all you saw was butt. You didn't see.
You did see some frontal of a dead man hanging at near the end. When they first pull in, there's that body that's hanging, and you see the backside. It does spin at one point, and you see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then you see the boobage of the playmates.
Like in the background, they don't really focus on it. Kind of hard to really see at most points.
That might be one though. That might have been in my extended version because you saw close-ups of boobage.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because there was the. Did you get the scene where they went to that island and they traded the barrels for the time with the playmates?
No, that wasn't even.
Oh, that was okay. That was a big chunk of scene. That was probably like 15 or 20 minutes, and that was trippy. Like there was a dude in a chest, like a dead dude, and
no, that wouldn't. Because the only time the playmates made it in was in that like USO thing when they were dancing on stage.
Yeah, after that, the crew in that little boat pull up to this island during a storm, and like the island's destroyed, but the helicopter's there, and Sheen's character like goes into the hut, and turns out it's that agent, and he's got a couple of the playmates. I don't know if if the third one's dead, but then Sheen's character comes out. It's like, and then his crew is like fist fighting, and he's like, "Guys, stop!" They're like, "What? And they're like, "I traded 2 barrels for 20 minutes with the playmates." They all freak out, and then they start grabbing the barrels, and then like there's 2 guys, 2 playmates, and then like they're having their like playmates are tripping on drugs or something. But anyway, you see stuff, and there's a scene that towards the end that's really funny is like when one of them finally starts kissing a playmate. She like looks out the window, and Lawrence Fishburne's character is like in the window, and she's like, "Who are you?" And he said, "Well, I'm next, ma'am." And then it cuts away.
One of those girls was also she was the one of the playmates was she plays the maid in Clue.
Oh, was that one who that was?
Yeah.
It's another one we haven't reviewed, but
I thought we did.
It seemed like a movie we would review.
I thought we did that one. I may have just watched it so many times. The list is going to happen eventually. All right, language.
Language. Once again, there was definitely language. I wouldn't give it a 5. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. I'd go with a 4.
No, they did give it a 5.
Yeah.
Lots of swearing by the soldiers and using of ethnic slurs.
Okay.
I heard one, but there may have been a few more.
Ethnic slurs?
Yes.
Or mainly it was against that group, wasn't it? Against the Vietnamese.
I heard one that you can't that we can't use. By the guy, there's a guy with a Gatling gun in that bunker, and he used the bad one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Products and purchases.
I'm trying to think if there was anything. Obviously, Playboy was in there. So I'd give it a 1.
I'll give it a 3. Winston cigarettes, Budweiser, Marlboro.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And that was it.
Okay.
There was 3 things, so they gave it a 3.
Okay.
Drinking, drugs, and smoking.
That could easily be a 5. Give that a 5.
I can't disagree with that at all. They gave it a 5. Because I think the whole movie was on drugs.
I think they were on stuff.
I think this movie should... I'm not saying this is what you should do. But I
pretty
think
sure you were telling all of our fans.
If you were on something, it might be easier to watch.
Ooh, interesting.
Excessive drinking and pot smoking, use of other illegal drugs, and extended drug trips.
Yep.
So, I'm just glad it didn't show
that. It had several psychedelic scenes, like psychedelic feely scenes. Like you're just like, no, I'm supposed to be on this.
I was on one site that was saying something about they're trying to make it sound like the whole movie was a drug, like he was on a drug trip, kind of making it sound like this, like what happened, like this was all in his head, and this movie like didn't even happen.
Okay,
I'm like, that's weird. Parents need to know that this film has dark and violent overtones. It is not recommended for kids. This is not a historical piece that glorifies the moral journeys of American soldiers. It includes excessive swearing, violence, and drug use. The film also presents American soldiers as overall hostile and excessively violent. I wasn't in Vietnam. I don't know how it was over there. Part of me doesn't want to believe this, but some things that were depicted in this movie, I could see happening. I don't know much about the Vietnam War. I don't know why. I don't even remember why we were over there.
Anybody know why we were over there, sir?
And that maybe I don't. That's not.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like something that could be. I mean, war is crazy. War is intense. So,
and let's go to the scene where they pull beside that fishing boat. Like,
okay.
Fishburne's character opens fire on these people because he sees her going after Chef. She makes a quick move, and he's 18.
Right.
Happy trigger finger. He just reacts and they kill them all. Did he intentionally just murder innocent people? Or was he just a scared kid and got spooked?
Right.
Was he a bad person for doing that? No, I mean, no. It should have been prevented, yes. Because I actually like Sheen's character he's like, I told you guys to ignore him and move on.
Right.
I'm glad they didn't show the puppy die, though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that one, they were just like, where's the puppy?
Where's the puppy? And then all of a sudden, that's into that.
Yeah.
Then the one guy dies by a spear. He's like, oh, really? A spear's hanging out of his chest?
Right.
Really? A spear? And then collapses. So, this parent, 14 plus 5-star, perhaps the greatest film ever made. Watch the he said, watch the theatrical cut first, however. Said, I saw Apocalypse Now when I was about 16, and ever since it has been a personal favorite of mine. The film is a modern retelling of Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, which I think that's a novel.
Okay.
This down here's the former source. Oh, no. I suggest that you watch the 1979 theatrical cut of the film before the 01 redo version, as the pacing is much better. So I guess the pacing's weird in the extended. Don't agree with this guy. He gave it a 12 plus 5-star. It's okay for a 13-year-old to watch it. I know it has a lot of nudity, blood, and dark themes, but nudity isn't so bad for children. My 8-year-old boy did not even recognize it. Most children won't understand the dark themes, but because of the blood, maybe 12.
Wow.
Don't listen to that guy.
Yeah, that was
Can I mark this as not helpful? God, I'm surprised they keep that on their website.
That's funny. Yeah, no. Like I said, I struggled to watch some of those scenes. Were like, I'm not mature enough to watch this scene. This is right.
I don't know who said it, but I'm offended. So, overall, I liked it. It was an alright movie. Don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah,
Not one that I'll round back to later on.
I won't. It was interesting. It was interesting, and yeah, I don't know. It was dark. It was messed up.
Sure was.
I don't know. I have no idea. Let's move on. What?
What? Huh? What?
What are we gonna watch next week?
I don't know. What do you want to watch next week?
I don't know. Watch that thing. I don't know.
What do we do? Hey, we're stupid. If you're this far into the episode, we appreciate you.
No, yeah.
My wife suggested School of Rock.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Dang right, it's a good one. It's probably the best one of all time. Not really, but I would trust my list over your list because you make stupid lists. Call back to our dinner of tonight.
Hey, I told you number 5 was a joke.
Funniest joke I've heard all week. You want to do School of Rock?
Let's do it. Yeah,
I have it on the DVDs.
it's on the something. Probably
one of Jack Black's best movies.
Oh,
I said one of. I didn't say his, because Nacho Libre was great. I'm having a hard time pulling up any more of his other movies. That's not Tenacious D. You never watched The Pick of Destiny?
I don't think I've ever seen The Pick of Destiny. I don't think. I do like me some Tenacious D though.
I'd like to see Common Sense Media's review on that one. So, I think you can watch it free on the YouTubes. Probably with ads.
School of Rock?
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
all it's free on. So, there it is. There we are.
That's all she wrote.
Got anything else?
Nope. Go eat some chicken.
Who's eating chicken?
The people. The listeners.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I'm telling them to, so I hope so.
All right. We're gonna try to fail here. I failed the opening. Why not fail the closing? I'm doing it.
That's